Hello, am I audible?
Hello, hello.
Hello, Ayaan, am I
Yeah,
audible?
you're audible. Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. All right. So I was talking about the BMR, and the
Okay,
BMR, it varies from person to person depending upon the height, depending
okay,
upon the weight, and also the age. But
okay.
an adult requires 7,000 kilojoules per day. So even if you lie down and do very little, you still need this energy. Now, the diet depends on age, greater energy requirement than adults because they have a higher basal metabolic rate. The BMR of the children would be higher.
Okay.
A young child may weigh less than an adult, but may have a higher BMR per kilogram per day because they are still growing. So, since their body is growing, they require much more energy so that their bones, their muscles can get stronger. Clear?
Yeah,
All right. Young children also need more mass because they are constantly developing and need to make new cells. Elderly people generally and protein needs and have a lower BMR. This much is clear. This whole
yeah,
thing about BMR is clear.
yeah.
However, they need to eat a balanced diet uh, if they are to stay healthy. Women have a relatively higher fat content in their bodies than men. Fat is stored in fat tissue, for example, under the skin. Fat tissue has a lower
So BMI
metabolic
is
rate than
exactly
muscle.
the BMI is
Not BMI. BMI is
BMR.
different.
Sorry, BMR.
BMR we are talking.
BMR. Sorry,
Hmm.
BMR.
Yes. It is the amount of energy that is required by any individual.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So it is more
Yeah,
in the children, it is more in the pregnant woman, but it is less in the older people. Clear?
yeah.
Hmm. Now, normally, what happens? Since females they have a higher fat content in their body as compared to males, so women generally have a lower energy requirement than men.
Okay.
Compare the daily energy requirements of the people shown in the figure and try to explain the differences. See here, a pregnant woman has 10,000 kilojoules per day. Teenage boy, which is 14 years of age, requires 12,500 kilojoules per day. Male manual worker requires 15,000 kilojoules per day, and a girl that is 8 years old requires 8,500 kilojoules per day. Clear?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, depending upon the age, depending upon the need of the body, this can change. Now, the energy needs of occupations that involve physical activity are greater than less
Yeah.
active jobs that involve sitting at a desk. People who take part in vigorous physical sports also require high energy and high protein diets. The extra protein is required for muscle development. Women need extra nutrients during pregnancy and when they are breastfeeding. For example, a woman in the last 3 months of pregnancy may require about zero point 0.8 molar joules more energy than the recommended for non-pregnant females. So see, it would require like the pregnant female, since she's feeding, like she is carrying the weight of two individuals, one herself and one is the baby. So she requires more energy. Clear?
Okay. Yeah. Because she's
Now, why can,
okay.
yes?
Because she's breastfeeding, right?
No, that is after the birth. Then also the female requires more energy.
Okay.
And while she is pregnant, while she is carrying the child, then also she requires more energy than a non-pregnant female or a non, like a female who is not breastfeeding. Clear?
Yeah.
Now, why can fat be bad for us? Fat provides us energy per gram than carbohydrates. aware that there are two types of fats, two main types of fats. The first kind of fat is saturated fat that comes from animals, and unsaturated fat that saturated fats in the diet may increase the concentration of cholesterol in our blood.
One second, ma'am. One second.
Cholesterol is a chemical made in the liver. Yes.
Give me a second. One second. Hi. Okay, ma'am. You can continue.
Yeah. So, yes, so the fats are of two types, saturated fats and unsaturated fats. Now, the saturated fats in our diet increases the concentration of cholesterol in our blood. Cholesterol is a chemical that is made in the liver and found in the blood. The quantity of cholesterol that we produce depends upon our diet as well as the genes that determine our metabolism, which we inherit. High fat diet tends to increase the risk of producing more cholesterol and having a high concentration in the blood. Now, high cholesterol is very dangerous. Now, why?
Yeah.
Because high cholesterol in the blood are linked to the narrowing of the arteries because they start getting deposited in the arteries. And since they get deposited in the arteries, the lumen of the artery becomes narrower. So blood pressure increases. So that is why high cholesterol is very harmful. Clear?
Yeah.
And if the blood pressure increases, it also has the risk of certain heart disease and even heart attacks. So that is why high cholesterol is extremely dangerous. Now, there are two types of unsaturated fats. Unsaturated fats are the ones that comes from fishes or plants. So, monounsaturated fats, they have little effect on blood cholesterol. Polyunsaturated fats may help to reduce cholesterol concentrations, which will help to reduce heart disease. So there is good fat and then there is bad fat. The good fat, it helps to reduce the risk of heart disease and stuff. But the bad cholesterol, which comes from the saturated fat, it is extremely dangerous. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, now let us look at the key points. A balanced diet provides energy and proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, water, and fiber in the correct quantity. Requirements of the diet depends on the person's age, gender, and how active they are. Saturated fats increase the blood cholesterol, which is linked to the narrowing of arteries and heart diseases. Any doubts up until now?
No.
Okay, now let's talk about the sources of nutrients. Eating healthily. Diets in different parts of the world vary. However, we should all eat from each of the food groups shown in the food guide pyramid. Okay, this is the food guide pyramid. So we should eat from each of the components, meaning there should be a carbohydrate in our diet. There should be a protein source in our diet. Excess of anything is bad. So there should be equal amounts or the right proportions. Talking about the carbohydrates, carbohydrates include sugars and starches, which provide us with a ready source of energy that is easily respired. Simple sugars are absorbed almost immediately by the stomach, into the blood to give an immediate source of energy. This energy is released as a result of respiration. Good sources of carbohydrates are rice, potatoes, bread, yams, sugar, and honey. So these are the carbohydrate sources. Clear?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Talking about the proteins. So in order for your body to grow and develop, it needs protein to make new cells. You can digest proteins into amino acids and then use these to make your own proteins. There are 20 different types of amino acid, and your body must have all of these to make its own protein. Cell membranes and cytoplasm contain a great deal of protein. Your body may need to replace old or damaged cells, so you need enough protein in your food for this as well. If protein is not used for growth and repair, it may be respired to provide energy. Good sources of proteins are meat, fish, milk, and nuts.
How
Talk,
the
yes?
nothing.
How the, were you asking anything? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, you
Ayaan,
are.
were you asking something?
No, no, no.
All right. Talking about fats. Now, fats are important as a long-term energy store. The fat is stored under the skin and around the heart and kidneys. 1 gram of fat releases more than twice as much energy as they can be released from 1 gram of carbohydrate or protein. When we are short of energy, our body uses. Right? While someone is on a diet, what happens? They are asked to not eat
Yeah, yeah.
carbohydrates,
Could you repeat that
right?
part? The fats from the start.
From the beginning, are you not listening?
No, there was some interruption.
The fats are important as a long-term energy store. The fat is stored under the skin and around the heart and kidneys. 1 gram of fat releases more than twice as much energy than can be released from 1 gram of carbohydrate or protein. When we are short of energy, our body uses the fat. Fats are also good thermal insulators since they cut down heat loss. Fat also gives buoyancy to marine animals. For example, whales have a thick layer of blubber. Right under their skin, they have a thick layer of fat, which allows them to not sink in the water. So they give buoyancy. Buoyancy is the force. It is the upward force that does not let the marine animals to sink. Good sources of fats are butter, cheese, fat in meats, and fish and nuts. Clear?
Yeah.
Now talking about water. Water makes up 2/3 of your body mass. You take in water when you drink or eat. You could go without food for a number of weeks, but you would die in a few days without water. Water is needed for chemical reactions to take place in the solution. The blood transports substances dissolved in water only. Waste chemicals are passed out of our bodies in solution in the urine, and water in our sweat cools us down. It is important that your intake of water each day equals the loss of water in the urine, feces, sweat, and breath. So water is very, very important. Without water, a person can die. And these are the reasons why. Any doubts?
No.
Now talking about vitamins and minerals. Now these are the substances that we need in a less number. We need small, regular amounts of vitamins and minerals if we are to be healthy. If these are lacking in the diet, we can develop symptoms of deficiency diseases. Now, such as vitamin C. The source of vitamin oranges, lemons, and other citrus fruits. Where are they used? So they are used for tissue repair and for immunity, for resistance to diseases. If someone does not have enough vitamin C in their body, they will have bleeding gums, that is known as scurvy. Then the next vitamin is vitamin D. which is found in the fish oil, milk, butter, also made by skin in the sun. What does it do? It strengthens the bones and the teeth. So, a person who does not have enough vitamin D in their body, so they have soft bones, leg bow outwards, so bowed legs like this. So, that disease is known as rickets. Then, iron. Iron is found in liver, meat, cocoa, eggs. It is used for the formation of hemoglobin in the red blood cells for the transport of oxygen. So, if a person does not have enough iron, so not enough hemoglobin will be there. And if hemoglobin will not be there, so not enough oxygen will reach the cells, which will cause tiredness, lack of energy, which is known as anemia. Then there is calcium. Calcium is found in milk, fish, and the green vegetables. What does it do? It strengthens the bones and the teeth yet again. Now, if calcium is deficient in the diet, then we have weak, brittle bones. Brittle bones are the ones that can easily break. We have brittle teeth, which is again known as rickets, and muscle weakness and cramps. Clear?
Yeah.
Any doubts?
No.
Now talking about fiber. Dietary fiber or roughage comes from the plants. It is made up mainly of cellulose from the plant cell walls. Although it cannot be digested, it is an important part of the diet. High fiber foods include bran cereals, cabbage, sweet corn, and celery. Fiber adds bulk to a food. Since it is not digested, it passes down the entire gut from the mouth to the anus and does not provide any energy. The muscles of the gut wall need something to push against. Fiber helps the movement of food in the alimentary canal by peristalsis, so preventing constipation. It prevents constipation, even though fiber does not provide any energy, but it prevents the constipation and it allows the easy passage of food. Fiber absorbs poisonous waste from bacteria in our gut. Many doctors believe that a high fiber diet lowers the concentration of cholesterol in the blood. Fiber reduces the risk of heart disease and bowel cancer. Clear? Remember that out of all the components of a balanced diet, fiber is the only one that does not get digested in the body. Rather, it is used for other purposes. Clear?
Yeah. Okay.
Now let us look at the key points. Carbohydrates are quick source of energy, while fats are an energy store. Protein is needed for growth and repair of tissues. Lack of calcium and vitamin D can cause rickets, that is soft bones. Lack of iron causes anemia, and lack of vitamin C causes scurvy. Roughage helps the passage of food through the gut. So this is all about the dietary components. Any doubts up until now?
No. Oh, dietary okay.
All right. Now balancing energy needs. Getting the balance right. The food you eat in a day should provide you with enough energy to get through the day. What happens if we eat too much? If you eat more food than you need, your body stores the extra as fat. Your energy intake is the energy you get in your food in a day in proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Your energy output is the energy that your body uses in a day. If your energy intake is greater than the energy output, then fat is stored in the body and body mass increases, the weight increases. We may run the risk of becoming overweight or even obese. Obesity is defined in the box on the next page, where people with low basal metabolic rate, BMR, are most likely to become overweight or obese than those with high BMRs. It is likely that their diet contains fattening foods such as high fatty foods and refined foods with a lot of added sugar, the processed foods and everything. So, what
Okay.
happens if the person's activity is not enough and the intake is more than that? Then a person can get obese. Now, talking about obesity, in rich industrialized countries like Britain and the USA, more people suffer from overeating than from eating too little. As we have seen, if a person takes in more energy in food than they use that, then the excess is stored as fat. Taken to extremes, people can put on so much weight that they become obese. Major causes of obesity includes high intake of fatty foods and refined foods containing a lot of added sugar, too little exercise, social and emotional stress leading to comfort eating. This is the problem of binge eating, when a person can't stop eating just to avoid the stress. Now, people who are overweight and obese are much more likely than thinner people to have health problems such as the heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes caused by high blood sugar, and even arthritis, that is worn joints. The joints, they do not work. Now,
Okay.
how could someone lose the weight? They could eat less high energy foods, meaning lower their energy intake, take more exercise, increase their energy output. A sensible approach to slimming should combine a balanced diet with a lower intake of energy, a gradual increase in energy, having an ideal but achievable target for weight reduction. So these are various strategies by which a person can lose weight. Clear?
Yeah.
Any doubts up until now?
No.
All right, now talking about the next topic, that is, okay, and here's how they have shown you to calculate the BMI. The BMI that you were talking about, the body mass index. So this
Yeah.
is, there are two ways in which people can identify being obese. Being 20%
Body
above
mass
the
weight.
recommended weight for his or her height. Having a body mass index greater than 30. So how is body mass index calculated? You put
Body
the
mass
body
by
mass,
height.
that is your weight, divided by the height. If it is less than 20, then the person is underweight. If it is between 25 and 30, then the person is
Overweight.
overweight. Yeah, more than 30 is obese. More than 40 is severely obese. If your BMI is in the range of 20 to 24, then your body mass is in the acceptable range. These calculations are for adults. The BMI is calculated in the same way for children, but the interpretation is different. Meaning this 20, 30, 25, 30 interpretation is different for children and it is different for adults. This one is for adults. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now talking about constipation. Roughage of fiber is important for a healthy, balanced diet. It is indigestible but adds bulk to our food. This is important for keeping food moving down the alimentary canal. The muscles of the gut wall contract to squeeze the food along. Soft foods do not stimulate the muscles to contract as effectively as the harder, indigestible foods that form roughage. If the movement of food is slow, it will result in constipation, making it difficult to defecate. A diet containing fruit and vegetables contains lots of roughage. These are the best foods to relieve constipation. Clear? Any doubts up until now? Are you there, Ayaan?
Mama.
Am I audible?
Yeah. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, am I audible?
Hello.
Yes, Ayaan, am I audible? Hello, am I audible? Ayaan, am I audible?
Ah.
Hello, can you please respond? Hello, am I audible, Ayaan? Ayaan, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Hello?
Yeah,
Okay,
you
what is
are. You
happening?
are.
Are you having any
My
internet issues?
no, my yeah, I was the internet. I was having some issues.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about this particular thing. Malnutrition refers to diets that are not balanced because there is too little energy or too much energy, a shortage of certain components, or far too much of those components. So that causes malnutrition. When not enough, when a balanced diet is not there. Constipation is a form of malnutrition as the diet is lacking in the roughage component. Now let us look at the key points. Some people put on weight if their energy intake in their food is greater than the energy output in exercise. Obesity is caused by a high intake of fatty foods and refined foods containing a lot of added sugar, plus the effects of too little exercise. A diet lacking in roughage, that is fiber, can lead to constipation. So are these 3 points clear? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. You are.
Yes, please respond in the class. All right, now talking about the next, that is starvation and nutrient deficiency. Your
Starvation.
biology exam is on 26th May. Am I audible? Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear me. Yeah.
Yes. When is your
Okay.
biology exam?
My biology exam 26th.
26th.
Yeah.
All right, starvation and nutrient deficiency. People can survive for many weeks without food, provided they have water. This is because during periods of starvation, the body draws upon its stores of carbohydrate, fat, and proteins for energy, but there are no stores of water. During starvation, the BMR is reduced. The body uses stored fat and then breaks down protein in the muscles to use as a source of energy. This leads to the muscle wasting and emaciated appearance, meaning a very thin appearance. Worldwide, the most common form of undernutrition is protein energy malnutrition, PEM. As the term suggests, that this is caused by the lack of dietary energy and protein. In its worst form, it can lead to kwashiorkor and marasmus, which
Yes,
are
yes.
terms to describe the appearance of children with the protein energy malnutrition. These are two different ways in which the body responds to the lack of food. In both conditions, children are underweight, though more so in marasmus. Like in marasmus, people, like the children are more underweight. However, it is the thought that children with marasmus have adapted better when given food. Symptoms of these conditions are shown on the left. Symptoms of kwashiorkor: edema, swelling in the abdomen and legs. This part and the legs part gets swollen. Sparse, dry skin, flaky skin, dry hair, flaky skin, fat accumulation in the liver. So these are the symptoms of kwashiorkor. Then this is marasmus. Very low body mass, thin arms and legs, little muscle or fat, wizened, old-looking face. So this is the symptom of marasmus. Both of them are very, you can say, severe diseases of malnutrition. Clear?
Yeah,
In both cases, children are in danger and feeding should involve frequent servings of small quantities of food. This is because protein energy malnutrition causes cells of the pancreas and intestine to die. So fewer digestive enzymes are secreted and the surface area for absorption of food is reduced. So during starvation, there are deficiencies of the protective vitamins. People are at risk of developing infectious disease. So it doesn't mean that even though they have this disease, that malnutrition, we cannot give them so much of food all at once. They'll die. We have to give
yeah,
them in small amounts
yeah,
because their capacity has reduced from being malnourished. Now, dietary surveys of poor communities in developing nations have shown that protein, which should be used for growth and repair of cells, has to be used as an energy source. This shows that the children with these conditions are suffering from a lack of energy in the diet. Children who develop the symptoms may be fed on tropical crops such as cassava and sweet potato while having a high energy content. These are low in protein, so they need to be supplemented with other protein foods. Staple foods such as wheat and rice will satisfy energy intake and also provide enough protein. Clear?
yeah,
Now, nutrients. Vitamin C is found in oranges, lemons, and other citrus foods. As we have seen, a deficiency of vitamin C leads to the disease called as scurvy, bleeding gums. Vitamin C helps bond cells together and helps in the use of calcium by bones and teeth. Vitamin C is used to form an important protein used to make skin, tendons, ligaments, and blood vessels. It also helps in healing of wounds and the formation of scar tissue. So that is why vitamin C is so important. Then comes vitamin D is needed for the small intestine to absorb calcium. It is also needed to regulate the deposition of calcium in bone cells. Deficiency symptoms include the lack of calcium in bones, causing rickets in children. Bones fail to grow properly and become so soft. So when children start walking, the bones bend with the weight of the body. Rickets can be prevented by eating food rich in vitamin D, like fish liver oil, butter, eggs, and milk. In adults, deficiency gives rise to the condition known as osteomalacia, which leads to the softening of the bone and increased risk, like chances of fractures. This was about vitamin D. Clear?
yeah,
Okay, now talking about iron. Iron is needed to make the blood protein called as hemoglobin, which is found in the red blood cells. Hemoglobin is a protein combined with iron. It is needed to carry oxygen around the body. Foods rich in iron include liver, meat, cocoa. If there is a lack of iron in the diet, a disease called as anemia can occur. An adult needs about 16 milligrams of iron each day. At puberty, girls need to make sure they have enough iron in their diet as they start to menstruate, meaning they start having periods after puberty, so they need more iron in their diet. The lack of iron leads to a reduction in the number of red blood cells. The main symptoms of
Okay.
anemia are tiredness and lack of energy, shortness of breath, heart palpitations, and a pale complexion. Clear?
Yeah.
Now, looking at the key points, starvation results in a very low body mass with lack of fat and
Could you show that, pale comp the part again? Okay.
yeah,
Puberty.
like these are the symptoms that are caused by anemia: shortness of breath,
Okay.
heart palpitations, pale complexion, lack of energy, tiredness. All of these are the symptoms of
Okay,
anemia.
done. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Now, talking about the key points, starvation results in a very low body mass with lack of fat and muscle wasting, plus a lack of resistance to infections. Scurvy is caused by the deficiency of vitamin C in the diet and can cause bleeding in parts of the body, particularly the gums. Lack of iron in the diet can cause anemia, which affects the ability of the blood to transport of oxygen. Vitamin D deficiency can cause softening of the bones, causing rickets and osteomalacia. Rickets in children, osteomalacia in adults. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, now let us look at the digestion. Now, during the passage of food along the alimentary canal, a number of different processes can be identified. So, talking about all of those processes, the first is ingestion.
Okay.
Ingestion is the taking of substance, that is food and drink, into the body through the mouth. So, eating is ingestion. Then comes digestion. This is the breaking down of the large insoluble molecules into small soluble molecules so they
Yeah.
can pass through the gut wall into the blood so that we can get the nutrient from that food. Then comes absorption. This is the movement of small food molecules and ions through the wall of the intestine into the blood. Then assimilation. Once the food has been absorbed, then it has to be transported to each and every cell. So it is the movement of digestive food molecules into the cells of the body where they are used, becoming parts of the cells.
Okay.
Lastly, egestion. It is the passing out of food that has not been digested or absorbed as feces through the anus. So these are the processes that takes place in human nutrition. Clear?
Yeah.
Now, the
Okay.
large food molecules are starch, proteins, and fats. Digestion occurs mechanically and chemically. This happens in the alimentary canal or the gut, which can, together with the liver and pancreas, form your digestive system. When the food has been digested, it is absorbed through the wall of the small intestine into the blood. Before the food molecule can go through the gut wall, they must be dissolved. Large food molecules are insoluble, so they will not dissolve. Therefore, cannot get through the wall of the small intestine. On the other hand, small food molecules are soluble. So they will get dissolved and they can get through the wall of the small intestine and enter the blood and the lymph, which is another body fluid that absorbs and transports fat. This is about lymph.
Okay.
Just like how blood is a body fluid, it transports oxygen, lymph transports it absorbs the fat and it also transports the fat. Clear?
Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk about mechanical digestion. Mechanical digestion is the breakdown of large pieces of food into smaller pieces of food without changing the food molecules. It starts in the mouth where chewing breaks down the food into smaller pieces that can be swallowed. Muscular contraction of the stomach continue this process. In the small intestine, large globules of fat are broken into smaller globules by emulsification by bile. Emulsification is breaking bigger molecules into smaller. There is more about
Emulsification is making
mechanics.
bigger small molecules into
Yeah,
smaller.
yeah. For example, if this is a bigger fat molecule, after emulsification, it gets into many small molecules so that it is
Okay.
easier for digestion. This process, like just the breakdown, is known as emulsification. Clear?
Yeah.
Now talking about chemical digestion. Before the body can use food that has been eaten, the food must be broken down into small molecules. Chemical digestion is the breakdown of large insoluble food molecules into smaller soluble molecules by the action of enzymes. This
Yeah.
occurs in the mouth, stomach, and small intestine. Mechanical digestion gives a larger surface area for the enzymes to work on. The three types of enzymes in the alimentary canal are proteases, carbohydrases, and lipases. Each type of food molecule needs a specific enzyme because they have different shapes. So you know that uh,
Yeah.
every single substrate requires their own particular enzyme. Now, if you see here, the a protein molecule is made up of amino acids. So this protease enzyme, it breaks down the protein molecules into amino acid. A starch molecule is made up of many glucose molecules. So this amylase enzyme, it is used to break down the starch into glucose or to maltose, like all these monomeric forms. A fat molecule is made up of fatty acid and glycerol. So when lipase acts on it, then it gets broken down into fatty acid and glycerol. Clear?
Yeah.
The carbohydrate enzyme that breaks down starch is known as amylase. Now talking about the key points. Mechanical digestion is the physical breakdown of food particles to increase their surface area. Chemical digestion is the breakdown of large insoluble food molecules into smaller water-soluble molecules by the action of enzymes. Amylase breaks down starch molecules to glucose molecules. Protease breaks down protein molecules to amino acid. Lipase breaks down fats to fatty acid and glycerol. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, now coming on to teeth. The teeth carry out mechanical digestion when chewing food. This breaks down food into smaller pieces, so making it easier to swallow. The surface area of food is increased, so making it easier for the enzymes to catalyze the reaction needed for chemical digestion. Adult humans, they have 32 teeth, but not all of the teeth are same. They have different shapes for performing different functions. Incisors are chisel shaped for biting and cutting, the front four teeth. Then comes the canines. They are the pointed for piercing and tearing. Premolars are have uneven cusps. Cusps are the ridges that are present on the teeth, so they are for grinding and chewing. And lastly, the molars, they are just like premolars and are used for chewing up the food. Counting the number of each type of tooth, you should find out that there are 8 incisors, 4 canines, 8 premolars, and 12 molars, which makes 32 teeth in all. This is for adults. During our lives, we have two sets of teeth. The first set are the milk teeth. They are small teeth and there are only 8 molars as our jaws are small. Between the ages of 6 and 12, these teeth gradually fall out to be replaced by our permanent teeth. The last of our permanent teeth will come through when we are at least 18, if at all. These are our back molars or wisdom teeth. So the teeth they develop, the permanent teeth come like teeth, meaning the third
Sorry,
molar.
ma'am, your voice cut out. In the middle, your
I'm,
voice cut
I'm,
out.
I'm saying that after the temporary teeth or the milk teeth have fallen down, then
Okay.
the permanent teeth they come along, and it is at the age of 18 that we get the back molar, that is the wisdom teeth. Many a time,
Okay.
this wisdom teeth comes like slant, and many people have to get it surgically removed. But this is how it is. Clear?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the section of a molar, you would see that there is enamel, pulp cavity, dentine, then this is the gum area, then this is the cement of the teeth. The nerves and blood vessels are here. This part is known as the root of the teeth, and the part that we see is the crown of. Enamel forms the hard outer layer of the crown of the tooth, which is the part above the gum. Inside this is a softer dentine, which is more like
Yeah.
bone in structure. A layer of cement fixes the root of the tooth into the
Layer
bony
of
socket
cement?
of the jaw.
Yeah, cement. Okay.
Yes.
Layer of cement
The
fixes the
root
root.
is the part that is below the gums. It is hidden under the gums. The pulp cavity is the space in the tooth containing nerves and blood vessels.
Okay.
Clear?
Okay.
Hmm. Now, healthy teeth and gums. Tooth decay is caused by bacteria in your mouth. They mix with saliva to form plaque, which is a layer that sticks to the teeth and gums. Now, after a meal, particles of sugary food may be left in between the teeth.
Yeah.
Bacteria in the plaque changes the sugar into acid because they are respiring anaerobically. The acid can attack the enamel on the surface of the tooth and starts off the tooth decay process. When enamel is worn away, acid will attack the entire dentine. If the cavity reaches the pulp cavity, this will be very painful and cause severe toothache. The
Okay.
acid can also make your gums red and swollen. This is how it starts. Like first of all, in the first case, the decay starts. Then slight toothache occurs when there is a cavity. Then
Yeah.
severe toothache occurs if it starts reaching the pulp
Agony.
cavity. And then there is the agony wherein if it reaches the gums right below the veins and the blood vessels are there, then it is very, very painful. Now, did you know periodontal disease can also occur if bacteria get into the space between the teeth? They can make the gums unhealthy. The bacteria can rot the fibers holding the teeth in position and make them fall out. So this is the periodontal disease. Clear?
Yeah.
Now, they have shown how to brush the teeth. I'm sure you know it. Talking about the study tip, note that fluoride strengthens the enamel of the teeth, giving them a hard exterior surface. So fluoride, you might have seen that it is there in the toothpaste also sometimes. So it makes the, it strengthens the enamel. Now talking about the key points. Incisors are for biting and cutting. Canines are for piercing and tearing. Premolars and molars are for grinding and chewing. Tooth decay is caused by bacteria and plaque, which changes sugar to acid that attacks the enamel and dentine of the tooth. Tooth decay can be avoided by regular brushing with a good toothbrush, avoiding sugary foods, and visiting the dentist regularly.
The dentist.
Clear?
The dealer used. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now let me see. So this is the last topic now.
7 points. No, 7 point. What was some? Oh yeah. Okay. 7.8.
Hmm. We still have some more topics left.
Seven
All
point
right.
seven now.
Yeah, 7.7. Mouth, esophagus, and stomach. Chewing and swallowing. Food and drink are ingested into the body through the mouth. When food
Okay.
enters the mouth, the incisor teeth and the canine teeth bite it into chunks. The
Yeah.
premolar and the molar teeth grind these chunks of food into much smaller pieces. It is important to chew your food well as this makes the digestion easier. The tongue mixes the food with saliva and the moistened food is chewed by the teeth. The food is rolled into the ball, which is known as the bolus. The salivary gland makes saliva, which contains, now salivary glands are present in our mouth. As we start eating, the saliva, it gets produced in the mouth. This saliva, it consists of mucus.